are back here on Issues and Answers Free Speech Friday. Scott and the Rev are here, counting down the most important and the biggest, mostly the biggest news stories, because there's a lot of important stories that don't move the needles. So here we are. We talking about stuff that move the needles for all of us here, not just in Gary, but around the country and around the world. It's time for number 8, Rev. I know you're gonna. I know everybody's gonna love this one. It's time for number 8.
Number 8. Open the envelope.
Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars.
You know, that probably, I don't know. It's the number 8, I guess, because of
news story.
News story, yeah. News story, social media. In fact, more than news story, social media story.
Yeah. This was definitely, that's why I sort of omitted it from important to like the most the news topics, because this story was the most overblown, overhyped story of the year. When a story is that hype, you have to cover it, you know what I mean? Because this is essentially, it became a polarizing story. It became a story about black men, about black women, about black hair, about, when is it appropriate to make jokes? It became a story about celebrity. I mean, this was like the OJ case or something, like, and I always felt like the whole thing was overblown. I felt like Will Smith overreacted to Chris Rock's joke. I felt like, he basically got offended for a very benign joke. Anybody remembers, basically Chris Rock compared Jada Pinkett Smith, who rocks a very bald head now because she has alopecia, to Demi Moore's character in G.I. Jane. And so he didn't compare it to Kojak or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. No. He compared it to Demi Moore when she was considered the hottest woman in Hollywood at the time in the 90s. So I thought Will Smith overreacted, but he got the look from Jada, Rev. He got the look from Jada.
Yeah, and to be honest, if it wasn't for social media, I probably wouldn't even remember this story. Yeah. Maybe this says something about the potency of a whole bunch of amateurs creating content about what's important. But according to, as I recall it, when Chris Rock tells the joke, Will Smith laughs.
Right, he did.
And then he looks. And then his laugh freezes. And he does a quick calculation of where do I want to sleep tonight.
Yep. Because Jada gave him that look. He sort of glanced over, and then he walked over there. To me, the much more shocking part of it is when he sat back down. Yeah. And he said, "Keep my wife's name out of your bleeping mouth." And I'm thinking, this man is cursing up a storm.
This is Will Smith now.
Yeah, Will Smith is cussing up a storm.
The Magic Man.
Yes. Bagger Vance on international television, cursing up a storm. He was sitting next to the beautiful Lupita Nyong'o, and one of the more famous pictures of and videos of that situation is the look on her face. She is stunned as everybody else. That she is she's in shock as everybody else, that this sort of magnanimous figure, Will Smith, is just going off and going crazy and just went up there and slapped Chris Rock. I mean, ultimately the fallout from this was that Will Smith is like suspended for like 10 years. And like I said, to me, these are two grown men. Will Smith's a grown man. Chris Rock's a grown man. Neither one of them is elderly. Neither one of them nobody got shot. Nobody got stabbed. Nobody got beat up. Nobody had to go to the hospital. Nobody was injured.
Nothing.
To me, the fact that I just felt like, okay, fine, suspend Will Smith for a few years from the Oscars. But people are saying, oh, his career may be over. Oh, my God. He slapped another grown man for, in his opinion, insulting his wife, which has got to be one of the most old school conflicts of all time. Like, if you think about it, probably since the caveman days, some version of that slap had to have taken place. Like,
yeah,
the minute your wife or girlfriend gets offended by something somebody says, I don't care if you're a caveman, I don't care if you're in a hut in Africa, I don't care if you're in a boardroom, at a country club, at a football game, a large percentage of men are going to be like, hey, you don't talk about my wife like that or my girlfriend like that. So I thought it was overblown. It was an overblown story. I hate that we had to cover it, but again, it's news. It's news. It's what everybody was talking about.
Yeah. Again, the potency of social media.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
To me, it was even like when it first happened, usually, I mean, if somebody embarrasses you in public, you know, your normal reaction, unless you're scared of the guy, just really scared of the guy, is to, you know, he throws up his hackles, you throw up your hackles, you both growl and stomp and circle. Maybe there's a tussle, you know, like in a hockey rink.
Mm-hmm.
And generally speaking, nobody gets hurt because it's all on TV. But in this case, Chris even joked about it.
Right.
So a lot of people looking at it thought that this was the gag until, like you said, Will continued it.
Yeah.
With the keep my woman's name out your mouth, and now everybody like, huh?
Yeah.
Caveman Will and damsel in distress Jada?
Yeah.
This is not a scene we've seen anywhere before.
Right. And before we leave this topic and go to the next, I just want to say that Will Smith was really mad about the joke that Regina Hall told at the Oscars. Nobody ever talks about this because she gets off scot-free. She was the host of the Oscars, not Chris Rock. He was just presenting. Regina Hall made a joke about the Smiths' marriage, about them having an open marriage. And that's what Will Smith was really mad about, you know, and it was just that he couldn't hit her, obviously. He couldn't hit Regina Hall, who made the joke that was, I think, a lot more offensive, poking fun at their marriage and implying that they have an open marriage. But Chris Rock basically was in the wrong place at the wrong time and he was just the fall guy, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And Rev, it's time for the number 7 news story of 2022.
We're getting closer to real news.
Yeah, this is another story I didn't want to cover, but again, this is the nature of the world that we live in. But Queen Elizabeth II died.
Mm-hmm.
4 billion people, the largest viewing audience in world history, Rev, tuned in to watch Queen Elizabeth II be buried. Mm-hmm. In the 21st century. Mm-hmm. Like, I am still shocked that people care about all these kings and queens with their scepters and all this nonsense. To me, it is just I'm so over it. But again, this was a huge story. Like I said, the biggest audience in world history. Like, people got up early in the morning to just watch the Queen's casket.
Yeah.
Americans did. I think I saw 20 million Americans tuned in to watch this. And I'm going, what did we fight the American Revolution for?
Well.
Like, what was the point? I thought we were done with these people.
Well, you'll be back. Time will tell.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. The amount of Americans who get all caught up in all this royalty crap with, you know, Prince Harry and Princess Meghan and Princess William and Princess Kate. It's just so.
Ooh, Princess William.
Yes.
Is there a story? Was that a? But
Prince. Really. Yeah.
But you know what though?
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised.
But you're right. Well, on the one hand, the worldwide thing I can kind of get, you know, because of the Commonwealth. So I can kind of get that. The American thing, I must admit, I think that is as much the fruit of the British royalty being tabloid fodder as anything else. I don't think we would give much thought to it otherwise. We don't pay attention to any other royalty, certainly. there are titular royalties in other countries, in Spain, even the family of Tsar Nicholas. Not all of them were killed. There's still a few people floating around Russia who got royal bloodlines. But no, we don't really get as excited about any of those people as we do the British royals.
I have, like, anybody has an idea why Americans care about that? Give us a call, 219.
I'd love to hear it.
885-1371. That number again, 219-885-1371. But we got to take our second break. We will be back with the number 6 biggest news story of 2022 here on Issues and Answers.